Hi, Brett here, and today we're going to talk about our motivation in playing an instrument and why we do what we do. A few years back, in one of the string band clubs that I teach, I asked the kids, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you learning this instrument? And one of the things that they said, and some have, this is very common, is, well, my parents are making me. All right, which, that's just part of growing up. That's not a strong motivation to learn an instrument because you're being made to do something. And I'm not saying you shouldn't make your kids learn an instrument. I'm just saying it's not a strong motivation. I had a kid in one of the string band clubs. He didn't practice at all. He didn't work at it, but he was there for everything, and he was there because he wanted to be a part of something. So I kind of get that, I guess. But again, as an adult, that's not usually the case. So they had a lot of different reasons, and a lot of them were poor reasons, and some of them were very good reasons. Some of them is because they wanted to, play like in nursing homes and things like that. Or they just wanted to get good at it. So as an adult, I've known adults who learn an instrument and they're absolutely miserable, which I don't get. If your kid's learning because they're being made to, they're not real happy about that. They're still doing it. I understand it, but they don't have a choice. As an adult, I know adults who play or are learning and they're just miserable, which I don't get that. Other than it's part of the process maybe where you get discouraged, which I do get that. But when you're trying to learn an instrument, it's easy to lose focus, and I will say this, we are extremely critical of ourselves. And to give you an example of that, if you've ever performed or you ever made played in front of people and you made a mistake, how long does the audience remember that for? All right, and the answer is a second. All right, it's not something that they remember, it's just here and gone. How long do you remember it for? Probably the rest of your life. In fact, you do. I can tell you so many times I've messed up as compared to the times that I've not messed up, because those leave that mark. So there was a time I really struggled with a lot of this. And let me just ask this question. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you learning, for example, hammer dulcimer? Right? And I'm not saying it is, if your reasons are, I want to play like Dan Landrum, I want to play like Ted Yoder, I want to play like Rick Thumb, I want to play like Phyllis Woods Brown, I want to play like some of these great players. If that is your motivation for playing, or I want to be better than, which is even worse, that is the weakest reason to learn an instrument. Because you're not Dan Landrum, you're not Rick Thumb, you're not Ted Yoder, and you're not Phyllis Woods Brown. And you may, if your goal is to equate yourself or to be better than or to play like, you are in for a lifetime of disappointment because you're not them. Everybody plays different. Everybody has their own weaknesses, their own strengths, their own styles. So what I'm telling you is, or rather what I'm asking you is, why do you do what you do? For me, if I had to narrow it down to just one thing, other than personal enjoyment, which something that's not a bad motivation at all. For a lot of people, music relaxes them, it heals them. I get that. But trying to be somebody that you're not, or trying to play like somebody that you're not going to attain to in your mind, you will always be disappointed. So that's why a lot of people get discouraged. A lot of times we need to change our focus. When it's all about lifting myself up, me, you will never be satisfied. So I've thought about this a lot, and actually for several years. Why do I do what I do? And one is, it relaxes me, it's personal enjoyment. But my real motivation is to actually touch hearts. That's my goal. And here's where this came about. I was playing at a flea market, and it was just lined up. You had tables on both sides with a long fairway down the middle, and I was playing hammer dulcimer up at the one end, and I just happened to look down, and there was this little girl, and she was probably 3 or 4 years old, and she was just dancing away to the music. And I thought, wow, she doesn't know where that music's coming from, but I am affecting her. I am reaching her. I am touching her. I am the puppet master. Actually, I wasn't thinking that, but I thought this is really cool that I could actually affect somebody, and they didn't even realize. She probably didn't even realize she was dancing, or that where the music was coming from. And I know she didn't know that yet because she hadn't got up there. And that's very minor. However, there's a certain song that I play called "The Unwalked Trail," and there's a story behind it which I won't go into now. But one of the things of that song is I have had dozens of people, dozens and dozens, it's not that old, come up to me and say that song has changed my life. It's changed my relationship with my father. It has opened my eyes. That song really touched me. To me, that's better than applause. That's better than accolades. That's why I do music. So my focus when I'm learning an instrument is not me or for me. It's actually how can I touch and how can I help other people? How can I reach other people with my music? And that actually goes a long way to your practice. That goes a long way to your performance. That goes a long way to your capabilities. So I hope that's encouraged you. And why do you do what you do? Why are you learning what you're learning? Thanks so much. See you the next one.